Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the eTrailer custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2020 GMC Acadia. The Acadia is pretty spacious on the inside, but it's always nice to be able to add some extra storage space, and adding a hitch allows you to do that. With this hitch you can use something like a bike rack or a cargo carrier, or you can even do some light duty towing with it. If you plan on doing any towing, just remember you will have to add on some additional trailer wiring to keep yourself safe and legal out there. Here's a closer look at what our hitch looks like installed on our neighbor's vehicle. As you can see, there is a pop out here that will reveal the hitch, so you don't have to worry about cutting into your fascia or anything like that. But our hitch itself is a nice flat black color. It looks really good with the rear fascia of our Acadia. That receiver opening is going to be your standard 2" by 2". That should fit most of your accessories. Behind that, another standard 5/8" pinhole. The pin and clip are not included with the hitch. However, we have many options available here at eTrailer. Also, any accessory that you add on will most likely come with one included. Then we have some sturdy safety cable loops down here. Pretty easy to access with whatever style safety cable you have, like this S or even this large clevis. Now for some measurements, we'll start with our ground clearance. From the ground to the top of the inside of the collar is right over 16 inches. Then from the center of our pinhole to the edge of our bumper is about 5.5 inches. You want to keep that number in mind for any folding accessories that you might add on to ensure they don't make contact with the vehicle. And for the weight capacities with this hitch, we have a gross trailer weight of 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle, and a maximum tongue weight of 750 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. You do have the option to use weight distribution with this hitch. That gross trailer weight number will bump up to 6,000 pounds. The tongue weight will stay the same. And always be sure to double check your GMC's owner's manual to ensure that your Acadia can handle that weight safely. All in all, I think this is a great choice for you if you're looking for a hitch for your Acadia. I really like the way the flat black paint looks, and it really matches the rest of the car. If you've installed this hitch before and maybe you just want to share some tips or tricks with us, or maybe you just want to share some photos of what you're using your hitch for, please feel free to leave a review or a comment. If you watch this video and you're finding out that you don't think you can install it yourself, maybe you just don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator, and you can find someone local to you that would be happy to help you out. But if you are looking to see how this gets installed, just follow along and I'll walk you through the process. We'll start our installation by removing the hardware holding our exhaust up. So now we have one more rubber hanger towards the front and the middle here. You can use a pry bar, but I have this exhaust hanger removal tool just to make it a little bit easier. And we'll get that released. And that should be enough to give us clearance to get our hitch installed. We'll need to take this heat shield down to cut it to make room for our hitch. It's held in by these, what they call speed nuts, which I don't agree with the name because they do take quite some time to take off, but I just like using a pair of needle nose pliers, getting it into the slots and turning it counterclockwise. So just remove them one by one. There will be a series of them. So for this one towards the front here, I wasn't able to get my needle nose in, so I just worked it with a flathead screwdriver, just putting force counterclockwise. And once it loosens up, you should be able to take it off by hand. But there's 3 of those, and now we have one more up along the side here, and I'll do the same technique with the screwdriver. Just find a nice edge that it'll bite, and give it a couple taps. And as I said, once it breaks loose, you can spin it by hand. And now we'll just pull this down. So in our instructions, they'll have a diagram for what we're cutting out. It's just going to be 4 inches wide on the side with this notch here. So I'll just mark that 4 inches. Then we're going to go 12 inches long. So mark it out, then I'll take some tin snips and get that cut out. So this is what it looks like once it's cut out, and we can reinstall it. Just get it up into shape and reinstall it with those washers that we removed. This stud here for our heat shield is actually going to interfere with our hitch, so we need to break it off. I'll just use a pair of channel locks or pliers. Should be able to wiggle that and just get it to break loose. Once you have it off, you'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we'll have some of the sealant on both sides that's going to interfere with our hitch, so I'll just take a razor blade and scrape that all off. Now we'll need to pull our carriage bolts, fish them through these 3 holes right here. We're going to use this larger hole as our access. So I'm going to start with the rear hole. I'll put the coiled end through. We're going to feed that all the way up to that access hole. And get that pulled out. Then what we'll do is take our spacer block, send it up into the frame, thread on our carriage bolt, push it up, pull on your fish wire till it drops down, and we'll repeat that process with the other 2 holes. Now's the step when you want to grab the strongest guy in your neighborhood. That's why I have my friend Greg here to help me out. I'm just going to lift it up high enough to get our fish wire started. Make sure you line them up with the corresponding holes. And we'll get it lifted up past the exhaust here. You want to make sure you're pulling those fish wires as you're lifting up. So once you have one of the bolts to drop through, just pull your fish wire off. We'll start one of our flange nuts, and that'll hold it in position so we can work on the rest of the hardware. So we did have quite a battle getting these nuts started, at least on this side. I'd recommend just making sure you get one started, and then once that's started, tighten it down. That should draw your entire hitch up. But once you have all your nuts started, we'll take an 18mm socket and snug them down. Now we'll take a torque wrench and torque everything down to the specification in the instructions. One other thing you will want to do either before you install the hitch or after is take out this pop-out panel that goes right here. There's just 2 T15 torque screws holding it in, and then it slides right out. And once you have that out, all that's left is to hang your exhaust back up. But otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the eTrailer custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2020 GMC Acadia.